We've also done a lot of work on buildings. As I said, we launched our buildings plan in August. People think a zero emissions building is something like this, but in fact, it's actually your stock standard 3-bedroom brick veneer house in the suburbs, which can be retrofitted to be zero emissions. And we've done a bit of work on this, showing how we can reduce residential energy use by 53% through the initiatives outlined in the plan, reduce non-residential energy use by 44%. There's potential in Australia for 33,000 megawatts of rooftop solar. We did that through some GIS work and satellite work. And as we all know, the costs of these retrofits and initiatives can be offset by the savings that you get on your energy bills. We've looked at all the different things that you can do in your home. And again, this report's available online, so you can see a lot of the detail because the fine print's a little bit small on the screen. But essentially through a whole range of measures, including LED lights, insulation double glazing, heating, ventilation and cooling upgrades, heat pump hot water, electric cooking, high efficiency induction cook stoves, and then through energy monitoring, in-home displays, etc., you can essentially go from having an average energy consumption of over 200 megajoules per day through LEDs, insulation double glazing, heat pump hot water, induction cook stoves, etc. You can go down to around 50 megajoules per day. That's a reduction of 3/4. So you're getting pretty close to zero emissions. And then you whack on your solar PV system on your roof, average system about 4.5 kilowatts, and lo and behold, you become a net producer of energy, not a net energy consumer. Many of you are probably already doing this in your own homes, where you're exporting, if you've got solar on your roofs, exporting energy to the grid, and you're probably making money out of that. We've just launched a new initiative called Energy Freedom, and this is essentially the story of energy freedom through going the whole hog by getting off gas, by going with high efficiency electrical products and appliances, and then improving your ventilation and other systems, your cooking systems, etc. And then by putting solar on your roof, you can be energy free. You can be autonomous, you can be independent, you can be an energy producer. And quite an exciting initiative, which I'll talk about in another couple of slides as well. So your house can become a solar power station. This is Energy Freedom. It's essentially bringing together the 3 years of research that was undertaken by volunteers and experts in BZE to produce the buildings plan. We're also bringing together a range of industry partners to be able to supply some of the products. So we've got Energy Matters, who do solar PV and other things. We've got Cherry LED, a Melbourne-based company who provide LED lighting. We've got Knauf Insulation, who obviously sell insulation through Bunnings. We've also just brought on 2 double glazing companies in Melbourne, Sustainable Construction Services and Windows for Life, and they'll be doing the double glazing and providing people with information on that. We've got Earthworker, who do the bolt-on heat pumps, the Siddons bolt-on heat pump. We've got Intercell, who do in-home displays, and we've also got the Australian Glass and Glazing Association, and so we've really got quite an exciting collaboration going on.
I heard that on the radio, like a window tint, they claim it gives you similar to double glazing when it comes to insulation as well. Do you know anything about that? Or?
It's a window.
Like a window tint or something.
Oh yeah. The question for those online is around one of the gentlemen in the audience heard something on the radio about window tinting or a film that you can put on your windows, which will increase their thermal properties. They do exist, that's right. However, they're not as thermally efficient as going the full-on double glazing or triple glazing. The window companies that we're partnering with do the double glazing and triple glazing. They also provide the framing with UPVC or wood, because you may be aware that double glazed windows with aluminium framing are not as effective thermally, because you get a lot of heat loss through the frames. Personally, I've done 2 retrofits in my own home, and it's also easy to essentially, if you have a wooden framed window with single pane glass, you can literally take off the beading around the window frame, measure up the single glazed pane, take those dimensions to an O'Brien's glass or another glass manufacturer. They will build you a double glazed unit that you can take back home, put in place, put the beading back, and lo and behold, you've got a double glazed window for $100 or $200. And I've personally done that, and it's a great way to retrofit rather than pulling out all the architrave and the skirting, pulling a whole unit out and spending $2,000 on a whole window. So a great way to go. The other thing we're doing with Energy Freedom is we're encouraging as many Australian households as possible to do this. We're asking them to sign up to be part of the Energy Freedom movement, to take climate action in their homes. Please tell all your friends, all your family about it. We've already got close to 600 people who've signed up in just 3 weeks. We've literally just launched this. We're hoping to make this a national movement so that we can go to government and say, this is a great initiative. This is a fantastic way of making Australian houses more efficient and more comfortable and more high performing. And please support more policies and more programs to assist Australians to be able to do this, because very cost-effective way of reducing emissions, but also an amazing way of improving your home. We all live in quite leaky, uninsulated, cold buildings. You come from Europe and you come from the US and you kind of go, what are we living in Australia? Sorry, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just going to say, with the bundle, the whole installation thing from the government, are you sort of worried about that? And if you have any suggestions that you give to the government in terms of how to better execute it in the future?
Yeah.
Tax, maybe chucking in windows.
Yeah, look, the question is, what should we be doing? How can we be working with government to have really effective insulation programs and really effective double glazing programs? Look, insulation, double glazing, and some of these other things are some of the more cost-effective ways to reduce emissions. The insulation program that was rolled out under the Rudd government was actually a very good program, a very cost-effective way, excuse me, of reducing emissions. However, you do need the training, you do need the accreditation, you do need the supporting mechanisms to ensure that these programs are rolled out effectively, and maybe not in as much of a rush, to make sure you don't have those hiccups. My personal view is that insulation is great. I've personally put in insulation in my walls, my floors, my ceilings. I can tell you, the more insulation you put in, you can literally feel the cold air going away. Any little crack between the bats, you can just feel the cold air coming in. So it just shows you how effective it is in winter at keeping the cold air out, and in summer keeping the hot air out. Very, very effective.
Did you retrofit your wall insulation?
Yep. So the question is, did I retrofit my walls? Yes. And I've also know how to plaster, so it makes it a bit easier. And also got under the floor, because you lose 7%, 15% of your energy through your floor as well, depending on what kind of floor you've got. So don't just do your ceilings. Imagine the way we describe it in BZE, imagine a bucket that has holes in it. It will leak, and so imagine any hole that's not insulated in your building envelope, and it will leak air, and so you need to make that whole space all around contained to have a really high performing home. So very exciting, sets the bar high bar for ambitious action, the best your home can be. We're aligning, we're really getting the energy efficiency story sold in a better way. I think energy efficiency has really suffered in this country, but also globally, where it's not as sexy as renewables. It's about saving something, not building something. So we think energy freedom is actually a really good way of aligning both energy efficiency and the renewable energy story. And as I said, we're aiming to get thousands of householders lined up. So please spread the word, including those people on Google and YouTube. And as I said, it's really linking the renewable energy efficiency, but also the no gas message. People say, what do I cook? I love cooking with gas. I say, have you tried an induction cook stove? Because there's plenty of professional chefs who are switching to induction cook stoves. Instantaneous heat, they're safe, high efficiency, you don't have your gas bill. Same with heating. Just anyone with ducted gas, I've had it. I installed it 10 years ago because I was sold on the myth that gas is clean and it's a natural gas, and it was low cost. Might have been 10 years ago, but I can tell you it's not cheap now. It's not clean. It's not natural, and the price is just going to go up. So not saying switch off gas immediately, but as your appliances break down, move off gas if you can to really make your home a high performing one. This is our Energy Freedom website. We have launched it. It's past mid-late May. Apologies, this is an old presentation, and yeah, that's the end of my presentation.